Hey, Hud Bixler, CIO with the San Francisco Association. Happy to be here. Happy to see so many of my friends here in the chat window. It's nice to see all 75 of you and counting. I appreciate that. I'll also say that I know the pop-up might have been annoying in the Clarity dashboard, but hey, we got you here. So I think it works. um, and as you know, the Q&A session is where you want to Q&A session. What am I doing? The Q&A section is where you want to drop your questions. So if you have any questions as we go through, as Mr. Rob Edwards just dropped in, word back to you, Rob. We've got, that's where you're going to drop any of your questions. We have an agenda. This is really about you guys asked for feature updates and changes, and these guys delivered in short order. And if you're not familiar with working with these guys, you'll start to get this pretty quickly. The Zenlist team and the SFAR team, myself and Jay Pepper Martins, meet on a regular basis weekly, and we talk about updates, changes, new integrations that we want to put together. And again, talk about building this as your secondary MLS platform. Rapatoni is one system, Zenlist is another. So we want to not, it's not, in the past, I've heard the words, the MLS application, and that is Rapatoni. But the MLS is us, all of us, and we contribute to this database. The applications that connect to that data are Rapatoni and Zenlist. So without further ado, Jessie, it's great to see you. I know you've been working hard behind the scenes, adding with the team at Zenlist. Why don't you tell us sort of how we got to this session and what we're going to cover today?
Yeah, it's great to be here. I'm gonna share my screen because I've done a little bit of prep work here. So we did a pitch battle with SFAR. Real Reports was there. There were a couple of vendors that came and we gathered all of this really helpful feedback and we heard straight from you exactly what is working, what's not working, how we can further optimize the Zenlist app for you so that it's meeting all the needs that you have. I know a lot of companies say that they value your feedback, that they take very good care of it. We wholeheartedly do. All of that gets logged in our systems. It's how we prioritize and plan our roadmaps. And so kudos to the team for putting this all together. I actually didn't code or build any of this, but I'm happy to bring it to you, introduce you to all of those changes we made. And I just wanted to kind of share this timeline, kind of how we got here. If you were a part of that pitch battle, thank you so much for joining us. And thank you so much for participating in that and having your opinions shared, for being honest and vulnerable with us. It truly is how we've built Zenlist into the application that it is today. So without those conversations and understanding your specific needs and taking that agent to agent and market to market, we wouldn't be where we are today. So just from the bottom of my heart, I know a lot of companies say it, we really, really do value that feedback and those criticisms. We're not scared of them. We don't shy away from them. We love having those conversations with you. So
This is true. I mean, in all my interactions with you and the team, Andrea especially is like, bring it. He's ready for the feedback. That's the only way we're going to improve things. You cannot improve what you don't measure.
Yeah. There's no ego in it. So don't be shy. Don't stray away from it. Let that voice be heard. And we love, like I said, we just love it. We really do value it so much when we're talking about the features that we're releasing and the things that our teams are working on. So this pitch battle happened on March 26th. It was a Wednesday. We took all of that feedback, made some plans, scoped out all of that, had some additional conversations with some people to better understand what this looks like in implementation. And then by April 10th, we started beta testing those features. After the beta test phase was done, our QA team made their way through those releases, and we got the thumbs up or the stamp of approval from those agents with that feedback. We released all of these changes just a few days ago. So you might have found some of these naturally on your own. You might have kind of seen them within the Zenlist app, but if you haven't, I want to just kind of shout them out, point a finger to them so that you know everything that we've done, all of the releases we've made. And I'm also going to give you a little bit of background as to why we made them, or the learnings we've had along the way, because that bigger picture can really help us all in understanding how we're using these features in our day-to-day practices. So real high level, the main updates that we're going to be talking about today are different view options when you're looking at listing details. Long awaited, we have added the option to print a listing detail page inside of Zenlist.
Yay!
It has been our number one requested feedback, probably since I started years and years ago. So that is now available to you. I'll show you how to get there and how to find it. We're going to talk a little bit about agent branding. We're going to talk about the list track integration, which has been released on web, but was recently, just a few days ago, released to the mobile app. So I'll show you how all of that works. We're going to talk about listing management, some optimizations we've made there. And then my big one, and the one I'm most excited to bring to everyone, is broker tour updates and how we have further optimized those and helped to make them a little bit easier to navigate, especially if you're new to Zenlist. I'll show you how to get started with broker tours in the Zenlist app. I'll show you how we've streamlined them and how we envision using these broker tours in the Zenlist app moving forward.
I love that printing was right there. That's the second one. I mean, this is funny as an aside. We do have I have discussions with the team and say, we're likely going to ask you to do things that maybe a modern technology company wasn't thinking of, right? Like printing reports, printing listing details. But the agents in our community and across the country, you're printing things out. You're doing things we're here to enhance your workflow. Yeah.
Yeah, and going back to feedback, I mean, printing listings is a great example of this. It's not something that we necessarily wanted to do because we have a mobile app and we kind of stand on this, opinion that you can pull everything up from the app on your phone. There's not a need to print out that piece of paper. Let's save the trees. Let's be a little bit more conscious of the things that we can do digitally versus on paper. But we have rolled over. Your feedback has won, whether we wanted to do it or not. It's now available. And so those are those difficult conversations that I'm coming back to. And we're wrong more often, I think, than we're right. And so learning those conversations and how they're implemented is really helpful. And the printed pages is a really prime example of it.
Every day is Earth Day, Jesse. Every day is Earth Day.
All right. So let's go ahead. Let's dive in if we're all ready. I'm going to take you to a Zenlist account. We're going to start on the web application. Very important. Most everything we're going to talk about can be done from the web application or the mobile app. So whatever device you prefer. I'm partial to my mouse and my keyboard and my screens. So I default to the web application. But if you're a phone or a tablet person, you can do almost all of this from the app on your phone as well. We're going to start in web and then we're going to transition into the mobile app. So I'll show you both sides and you can kind of see how they work interchangeably. So starting off on the web, we're in our search tab here. That's just in that main navigation here. And I want to talk quickly about some of the bulk actions you can take on listings. So if you're familiar, you can actually just select multiple properties. It gives you this little, I like to call it a shopping cart. We're going shopping for homes. And you can select a number of listings and then take a bulk action on them here. This is going to come back into play in just a minute, but we did add the ability to see statistics on just those selected listings. And so this will show you all of these happen to be active, but it'll show you the average list price, things like that. And if I change, maybe we do a hot sheet for the last 72 hours, and then I select a couple of these listings. Oh my gosh. If my clicker clicked. Nope. Hang on. There's too many people watching me. Hang on one second.
That's right. Exactly. Now start typing an email.
We'll have those stats updated. I can see them as well. If I go in and I update the filters here, I can see just what those closed properties look like. I can draw on my map, add those different locations. So rather than seeing the search statistics for the entire map that you're looking at here, you do have that really big picture. So you can see what those statistics look like, how they have changed over time on the right side of that overlay. You can screenshot this, send it to a client. We're adding a send button to this in the very near future. But it's very simple for you to pull this report and you can do it from the mobile app, but you can also take it a little bit further and do it for just a handful of listings. That's one of the releases we made just earlier this week, just a few days ago.
This is the one thing I really like. Often, Jesse, in the other MLS application, Rapatoni, you have to save searches, go to different parts of the application, but the way you guys are overlaying things, you have the map search, you look at your content, and then you're able to do stats and then see everything in real time without losing your place in what we're losing your focus, I should say.
Yeah. So sticking in our search tab, I want to show you the different list or the different listing view options. So I'm just going to open any listing and you can follow along if you like. I'm just going to open any old listing here. I've got the listing details here. This is the details page that I know and love. It has those photos. I can see the photo gallery here to kind of scan through them a little bit quicker. And then all of the listing details default to the right side of my screen here. But this handy new button gives you a compacted view or a little bit more of a report style view that you're used to seeing in other MLS systems. So it doesn't prioritize those photos, it really prioritizes the listing information here, those details, features, amenities, all of that information here, so that you can quickly find the information you're looking for, and you can choose which view works better for your brain, which information you would like to be prioritized when you're looking at those listing details. And then inside of this little dot, dot, dot menu, in that little, it's in the top rightish, maybe the top middle of your screen here, that's where that print option is going to be. And this is going to give you just a concise view of those listing details. You can print it out. I default to save as PDF because I'm normally sending them to people, but you've got that option inside of that compact view so that you can take it with you on the go.
This is something that we're working with the Zenlist team to add additional reports or displays, as we call them in Rapatoni. The idea is that this many of the reports or the displays that you're used to printing out, you'll be able to do here. Also, in this white space you see here, we're going to start adding some of the integrations that you're familiar with, such as being able to, run a real report, or maybe being able to create a showing time request, things like that. So you'll start to see this. To me, Jesse, this feels like more like the MLS. This is like a expanded view. This is kind of the workspace that we're looking at, and we'd love some feedback on this. As you start
Yeah.
to play with this, let us know what you think. Yeah.
Yeah, this is V1 of all of most of this. So specifically this listing view format or layout, and then also the printed listings. This is version 1. So if you're using this and there's feedback or like I said, criticisms or ideas, suggestions you have, please do share it with us. Without that feedback, we're not really sure how to further optimize it because we're not the ones that are printing those listings day to day. So keep that in mind. V1, not the final version. And we'd love to hear what you think.
You'll notice that we're looking at a property in Sunol, which illustrates that we have the entire data share here in the Zenlist application. That means we have properties all the way from Sacramento all the way down to Monterey. So this is a full feed of all of that data, as this is what we call an inside the MLS application.
Yeah. So that's kind of one of the quick and easy ones. We'll talk a little bit about branding, and then we'll talk a little bit about listings and move into the mobile app. Now, this branding section is the one thing that you cannot do from the mobile app. It's something that you'll want to set up on your laptop or computer, but then it's kind of like a crock pot. You can set it and forget it. You don't have to go in and update this every day, but you'll want to set that up and set all of those preferences from your computer. And inside of this branding section, you'll have a few different sections here. The one that I want to focus on a little bit are these public listings and the Zenlink public profile. They essentially tie into one another. So the public profile is a link or a URL that you can use in your marketing. If you have like a link tree or a link in bio, you can use this Zenlink in that way. Your clients or leads can request access to Zenlist through that profile because Zenlist is a closed platform if you're not familiar. And it'll have all of the information you want to share. So your contact information, any external links or URLs if you've got a website or a podcast, a YouTube channel, whatever it may be. And then all of your reviews, your statistics, your listing maps, all of that. And I'll just take a look at this one. We'll open it in a new tab. And it's got all of that really nicely laid out. So when my leads or my clients click on that link from my Instagram bio or my email signature, this is what they'll see. They can connect with me on socials. Look, I said YouTube, you can have that YouTube channel connected here. Our production statistics, Google reviews, that listing map as well. And so it's just a really nice way to share all of that information about what you want to share with those leads.
Yeah, by the
And then
way, shout out to Steven and the team. Thank you for letting us use this
yes.
account. And the fact that you guys are really using it is fantastic. Also, show of hands of who pays for a website. right? To me, this is, what you can add compared to what you might be able to do with a lot of website providers out there. And this is just part of your account. I mean, you can add your stats, you can add your properties that are available because it's all connected to all that data, plus the videos, as you said.
Yeah, and it's really just drag and drop. So there's no coding involved. You don't have to be an expert. If I can do it, you can do it. All of the information you plug into this public profile is also displayed on the public listing pages in that branding package. So when you send a listing to a client, you text it to them, you email it to them. This is what essentially they'll see. Now, this isn't a real listing, this is just an example, but your branding will be the one that's up here. This learn more about me links to that public profile. So if you've got a great new listing and you want to share it on socials, you want to run a campaign around it, or you've got, I always use the example like if your buyers were really interested in a property, but they wanted to get their mom's opinion on it, you can use these links to give a really good impression. And it's going to look like you put a lot of work into that landing page. Like I said, without any of that coding experience or whatever it is that I'm certainly
That
not
those
an expert
coders
in.
do, whatever it is that they do. We had a question about so is this an actual URL? Like is this an actual website that should we get an actual link? Oh, I see. You're going to show me right now. Great. So this is
Yeah.
because I would imagine a lot of people get like www.hudbixler.com. Don't try. I already own it. So or you're a real estate superstar or whatnot. Could you actually get that domain name and then maybe forward it to your Zenlist public profile?
You could, yeah. There's lots of people that do it. So you'll have this share link button is just going to copy it to your clipboard. So then you can go and paste it wherever you need to. And there's also a QR code that you can use if you're printing anything for like open houses or business. I've seen them on bumper stickers in some areas. You can have that QR code, and when it's scanned, it takes you to that public profile. And this is what that URL will be. So it'll just be zenlist.com slash, your account name. And if you wanted to kind of have that forwarded through your domain, you can do that. There's a couple of people that have that. I have a really good example of an agent in Chicago that I'll share with you.
Oh, cool. Yeah, we get this question a lot. A lot of agents will say, "Hey, what website providers do you have that have MLS data, for example, right?" Um, and so we'll say, "Well, first talk to your brokerage because oftentimes the brokerage already has a relationship with a vendor in particular." But in this case, as Rob asked the question, well, what if I just, I have a URL, meaning I have a domain name. Can I just forward it? And looks like we can.
You can forward it. So Carrie McCormick, she's a long, long time Zenlist user. She's been a user since before I even started working for Zenlist, and she's in the Chicagoland area. And she's got this really beautiful website that talks about why you should work with Carrie, why she's the best. And this button that says to start finding takes you to her public profile. So it takes you to
Perfect.
her
Yeah.
page. And then those leads can request access to Zenlist. You'll be able to approve them as the agent, and then they can start searching with you. It's
No,
important to note here that we are not an IDX provider. So you can't have those searches hosted through Zenlist, but you can kind of forward them and have them linked as a call to action like Carrie does.
yes, for those of you that don't know what IDX provider, that means publicly available search. And to me, this is a feature, not a detriment, because you see how you have to select request access. That's when you know when someone is real and they really want to look at properties. I don't know if we mentioned this, but Zenlist is an invitation only platform, right? So you either invite clients to join Zenlist, or in this case, they're going to request access to be your client or to join your Zenlist. Do you got that right, Jesse? Is that correct? Just want to make
Hmm.
sure. Okay.
Yeah, your clients can't just download the Zenlist app and start searching like they can on other public search apps. They have to be working with an agent, and you're the one that can control who is connected to you. Great. All right. So, branding, you'll set that up in your computer from a web browser. Go in and update that public profile here. This in-app profile is going to give just a little banner to all of your clients so they know your name, your brokerage is primary, front and center. And then these buttons will give them the ability to email you or call you really quickly if they need to. You've got that chat built into Zenlist as well. So it just gives a little bit more agent branding to you when your clients are using the Zenlist app. And then we'll talk a little bit about listings. So in that main navigation, just above branding, there's this My Listings section. It's in a different spot in mobile, so I'll show you where that is. But inside of this My Listings section, it's going to pull up all the listings that you currently have on the MLS. So I've got a couple here, and again, thank you, Stephen, for letting us borrow your account for this. We've got a couple that are coming soon, a couple that are in an active status. We can also see the off-market properties here. They should be pulling in automatically based on your MLS ID. And if I click into one of these listings, it's going to show me a bunch of information here. And this is where that list track integration comes into play. So I can see the activity that has happened on Zenlist since I have published or activated that property. I can scroll over and kind of see what's happened. There are two clients that have saved this listing. I can see how many times it's been viewed by an agent or a client just within the Zenlist application. But if I go just a little bit further down, I've got lots and lots of
Yeah, this is
information that I
great.
can.
If I may, so one of the challenges we had with the NorCal Alliance is you brought together these 7 different MLSs, 5 different databases essentially, and when we launched, uh, we were not able to merge all of the hit counts, right? So when you're in the Rapatoni MLS system, you were only able to see hit counts for MLS, Rapatoni, I'm sorry, for Berries, for Metrolist and us. And of course, that's not the whole picture of the NorCal Alliance. So Jay and I talked to the list track guys, and we said, "Hey, could you fill in these gaps for us? And can we make that work in the NorCal Alliance? Oh, and by the way, do you have Zillow stats? Do you have Realtor.com? Do you have Trulia? Do you have Coldwell Banker, et cetera?" And I said, "Yeah, we got that data." So we were able to do a deal with them to bring that data first into Zenlist. I will say it's going to be available in Rapatoni shortly, but we didn't want to wait. Zenlist could do it faster, so we made sure to get that set. We're really happy to finally see all these stats for listings.
Yeah. And so I've got this great graph here. I can change the time frame that I'm looking at. We'll stick to 1 month. And then again, I can kind of scroll over these bars in my graph to see what those numbers look like, or my pie chart if that's a little bit better for your brain. And I can also remove any of these different sources of hits. So if I just wanted to see what happened in the MLS, I can take off Zillow, Zenlist. I'll leave berries, bum, 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 bum. Is that all of them?
Yeah, that's it. Yep.
And then you can see how that stacks up MLS to MLS portal. You can include or exclude whatever sources you want to here so that you're really looking in at the information that's most valuable to you and your clients. And so this information is that list track integration. You can take it with you on your mobile app now. And then up at the very tippy top, you'll have a seller
I
report
was
that you
just going
can
to
share as
ask, can you
well.
share that with somebody? Yeah, right.
So you can definitely like I said, big fan of screenshots, screenshot this, send it to your clients and be like, "Wow, guys, look at this," or whatever it is. You can generate a seller report which will concisely list all of those informations, and then you can just copy and paste this in an email to your clients. If you're on our top agent plan or having your clients be able to access this information on their own, you can do that in the top agent plan. You'll actually add a client to that listing and they will have this same information. They won't see the reverse prospecting, so they'll never see like which agent has a client that liked that property. But if they want to be able to pull these reports and look at these graphs on their own, you can do that in some of the upgraded plans. So that's another thing to consider. But if that's not your jam, you can send the seller reports, screenshot it, whatever process works best for you.
I kind of like you, to be honest. I like the just grabbing a screenshot like you did. And then someone did ask here, is this available on the free plan? Everything we're looking at today is part of the free plan, right? So if you are, um, there are different sort of tiers. Every SFAR agent gets a free Zenlist basic plan, which allows you to do what you're seeing here, the broker tour, ad edit listings, all the type of stuff you do in the MLS. Um, there are a few different tiers that are out there. If you want unlimited clients, that's part of the pro plan, for example. Yeah.
Yeah, cool. So, the very last thing we'll talk about on listings before we go to the mobile app, and we'll kind of rehash some of this stuff just so you can see what it looks like on the app on your phone, is actually that listing management. So, you can now, add or edit listings from Zenlist and it feeds to the MLS, which then gets syndicated everywhere. So, you can quickly add or edit, make changes to a listing if you need to. I'm actually going to switch accounts to do this. So I'm just going to pop over to my demo account. That way I'm not actually publishing a listing that's not for sale. And we'll have that listing here. So if I'm making a change, if I'm just editing a listing, I'll click into that listing here. I've got that same graph, all of that same information. And then I'll have this edit button in the very top right, which takes me to all of that listing information. So I can add a broker tour, I can add an open house, I can update the status, I can change the list price, I can update a photo if I need to. You've got that full index of listing fields that you can now manage through Zenlist and make those changes from the app on your phone if it's that quick for you.
And this is all pulled from we've been working on this for about a year. To be honest, it took a lot of time because as you know, those of you that are inputting listings into the Rapatoni MLS system, the fields are this long and there are so many fields. And part of that is Rezo data dictionary. And part of that is that we are part of a data share. So what's cool about this is you're going to see all the required fields missing and filled. And then one of my favorite things is on the right-hand side, you kind of get an idea of what still needs to be filled out. Obviously, the things in red still need to be filled out before you can go ahead and publish that listing. So I'd encourage everybody that has a new listing coming out, which hopefully is many of you, so we can get more inventory here in San Francisco. Give it a shot on Zenlist. Add your listing that way. You can add it as a coming soon. You can add it as an active listing. You can upload your photos, all that good stuff. And then you can then once you publish that listing, it will then be available in Rapatoni and in Zenlist. And then you can edit it either in Rapatoni or in Zenlist. It's not like it's only in the Zenlist platform. It's in both.
Yes, yes. And adding a listing is really simple. So I'll just quickly walk you through that. So if you need to make a change to an edit, you'll do that just by clicking on the address. But if you're entering something new, you'll just click to new listing and you'll follow all of the steps. So yours will say SFARMLS. It's the kind of listing that I'm going to add here. And we're going to choose just some basic information to get started. So we'll say this is a residential single family home. And then it takes me to that same screen so that I can enter all of those fields, gives me a preview of what that listing will look like in Zenlist after I publish it. And again, I've got all of those missing fields laid out and it's dynamically going to update too. So if you fill out a field that then requires you to fill out a couple of others, it's going to now update that so that you're not going to miss any of those requirements. You're going to stay compliant when you're listing those properties in Zenlist.
It's following
And
all
it
of our business rules. You're right. Yeah, when you use the word compliance, data integrity, we use both words here. But it means that it's not going to let you publish that listing and put in, some words that you can't use anymore based on the settlement from last year. Things like that.
Yes, yes. And it's going to save your progress automatically too.
Yeah.
So I know that this was a big thing when we rolled it out. You can close this window, come back to it. It's going to remember everything you've changed. You can take a phone call, you can close your laptop, and
You
it's
won't
going to
get timed
automatically
out.
save. Yeah, it's
You
going to
won't
save
get
all your
timed out.
progress.
Yeah, that's a big difference between the Rapatoni system and this is, you get busy, you get a phone call, you walk away, and you just lost your listing. So this in Rapatoni, in this system, it auto saves, which is great.
Mhm. Yeah. And so if you haven't used this yet and you don't have a listing coming up or you don't have a listing you need to edit, you can also create a draft just to get a feel for what that looks like. I know it can be scary and maybe a little bit intimidating to use something new when you've got an important listing that you need to put on the market. So you can start with a draft just to get a feel for what that all looks like. And you can delete the draft. You don't ever have to publish it if you don't want to, but just kind of dip your toes in the water and see what it's all about, see what processes work for you. If it'll help you save some time or anything like that along the way, then you'll be familiar with what's available to you the next time that comes up.
And if they get nervous, I think they can contact you guys, right? Like they're in the middle of doing a listing and they're not sure what steps to move. Of course, you can always contact the MLS, but they always I have support with you guys directly too.
Yeah. So In that main navigation in the bottom left, you'll have a support button. You can live chat with our team and we can help troubleshoot anything you have. This is a great place to send feedback or suggestions. If you get stuck and you have questions, there are no stupid questions. So don't be afraid. Don't be shy. You can live chat with our team. They'll get you an answer in a minute or two during our office hours, and we love to hear from you. So you can contact our support team, contact the MLS, whatever it is that works best for you. And then before I take you to the mobile app, I did see a couple questions about Follow
Yeah,
Up Boss and CRM integration. So we'll go ahead and talk about
go for
that.
it. Yeah.
Inside of your account in the very bottom left corner, I'll click on my little headshot there. This is all of your account preferences. And in this, you'll have the integrations. And this is going to integrate to those CRMs or those external platforms. So if you're on Follow Up Boss, you can quickly connect that. It'll ask you for an integration key, an API key. We'll send it, and there's steps. It takes a minute or two. It's very, very simple to set that up. You'll just connect it and sign into each account. And then what that'll do is Zenlist will send important information about your client's behavior to Follow Up Boss, and you can set up those workflows or tasks as you see fit. So if your client requests a tour on a property, that information is sent to Follow Up Boss or Close or Wise Agent or whatever CRM it is that you're using. And you can have that integrated so that we're sending that important information to your CRM. If your CRM is not on this list, you can use Zapier. They have some free plans that you can use. Requires a little bit of brain power, but again, if I can figure it out, you can figure it out. And so if you're a CRM or you have another system that you want to connect, you can do almost anything through Zapier. So
Yeah, I saw that. I've used Zapier way back in the day, but it's a fantastic way to connect other systems. And while we're going through our questions, one final one, and I've got this a couple times. In list track, or is there, why don't we see Redfin data? So essentially, Redfin data, list track takes data that is shared with them. Redfin doesn't currently share data with list track, but maybe they will someday. So we hope they do, but at this point they don't. So this is what is currently available in the list track system. And then another question while we're there on the integrations. So Zapier will make the connection. Will Zapier make the connection to Lofty or KV Core? That's a good question, Rob. I think it's about experimenting in this case. Since there isn't a known integration, I expect we would try to do it with Zapier. Or do you know,
I know
Jessie?
that.
Maybe. I don't know.
I know that Zapier connects with KV Core, so you can set that integration up through
Great.
Zapier and have it fed to KV Core. I'm not familiar with Lofty, but I've not run into a platform that doesn't integrate with Zapier. So all of the popular, heavy hitters are going to be in Zapier, or it's safe to assume that they would be. I haven't run into one that's not available.
And it's basically taking two different logins and just connecting them. That's really what it does. It, on your behalf, logs into your CRM and Zenlist and then connects the two. So
Yep.
it's likely that that works.
Yeah. Cool. So I'll take you to the mobile app then. This always takes me just a minute
Oh, I can
to
kill
get.
time while you're doing that. These have been some great questions. I've got the polls and quizzes. I'm gonna go ahead and stop that. Everybody has pretty much been on the on this session, and I'll go ahead and share the results if you guys want to take a look at it while we're going through the rest of the session. And if you don't want to see it, just click on that X and it'll go away. But again, a lot of these questions are for us, so we continue to build on this partnership and make the requested changes that you bring up. Yes, the mobile always takes longer to share, doesn't it, Jessie? Because
Oh my
your
goodness. It's
device,
embarrassing, guys.
the device decides to do what it wants to do. I assume we're going to look at some broker tours. There we go. I see it. Now we see your screen. Fantastic.
Beautiful. All right. So now we're looking at the Zenlist mobile app. It's just Zenlist in the App Store, the Google Play Store. You can download it anywhere. You get all of your other apps. We're going to default to the search screen here. So I've got that map pulled up. I'm actually going to come back to this because before we talk about broker tours, I want to kind of just put an end on some of the other things we talked about. So list track is one of the first one, having those reports and that activity on your listings from the app on your phone. To get there in the app, you're going to come to your account page in the very bottom right. It's that little person icon. And then across the very top, you're going to click to switch to listings. So this is going to be kind of client management settings, those integrations, things like that that we talked about. But if I click switch to listings, it takes me to that same My Listings page. So I've got all those listings that are automatically connected to my account through my MLS membership. Those off markets, I can add a new listing if I need to. It'll follow those steps. I can make changes to my listings, edit them, change the status, add broker tours, whatever it is that you need to do, whatever makes your heart happy. And then clicking on that address again takes me to this information page about everything that's going on. So I can see some of that basic activity over the last 7 days. I've got those statistics in those same charts, and then the same options to add or remove the different sources that I'm seeing that information come from. So if we take off Zillow and Trulia, those are the two biggest ones, we can see how that changes. And I can click into all of these to see how they change over time, what that all looks like, update the different intervals or the time frame that I'm looking at. And then that Zenlist activity is down a little bit towards the bottom. And so I've got all of that from the app on my phone. Again, very simple. Snag a screenshot and text it to your clients. You can do that. You can send the seller reports, which gives you kind of that email template that you can customize. And it's just very simple, very quick to pull it up from the app on your phone. You'll have some reverse prospecting tools in here. You can, like I said, edit those listings, make any changes that you need to. And also at the very bottom, I always like to point this out too, you can also view the listing. So after you publish it and you're getting those, reports, you're working with your sellers, whatever it may be, you can view that listing detail page from that same screen and then text it to a client, send it to a client in chat, whatever it may be that you need. We've got all of that information. And so everything's really well connected inside of the Zenlist app. It's easy to find, or at least we hope it's easy to find all the information that it is you're looking for. So that's kind of where you'll find that list track information, where you'll come to manage your listings, add a new listing if you need to. All of that listing management is just inside of that account page. And then now let's talk about broker tours, because this is the one I'm most excited about. So broker tours and Zenlist, if you've used them before, I'm going to point out the changes that we make along the way. But I really want to kind of walk you through the process step by step and point out where we've made changes, kind of what we've learned along the way. And so we can build upon that knowledge for you and what you need, what you're looking for when you're building those broker tours. So I'm just going to walk you through how I would recommend setting one up. If you're brand new to Zenlist or you tried it and found it difficult, I'm going to walk you through those steps so that you can build a little practice for next Tuesday when you're ready to go out on those broker tours again.
And as Jessie is setting this up, I'm going to take you back in time. 3 years ago, when we first started working with the Zenlist team, it was part of our strategic plan at SFAR. We do one every 3 years. And one of the highlights for the MLS and technology component of the strategic plan was we all decided that we need a strong mobile app that's locally focused, that's modern, that's fast, and all those things. We looked at a bunch of different companies that were out there, and none of them would do anything to customize. We have districts. We're special in San Francisco, I'd like to say. We have districts. We have broker tours. No one does the tours the way we do it. So we have some complexities. So you can't just go to this app store, grab an application that's just going to work in San Francisco. There's a lot. And then you throw in the NorCal data share. There's a lot of different components. So these guys fit the bill and they did the customization. But as you can see, that doesn't just happen once. It's going to be iterative. And Jessie's going to show you how it's changed.
Yeah. So let's pretend it's Monday morning and we're planning out my Tuesday broker tour. We're just going to fast forward a few days and I open the Zenlist app and I'm ready to start planning that day. What I'll do is at the very top, I'll have this bar of, these are just the most popular filters that are used. And so I'll click on that broker tour and I'll toggle them on. And if you've used these before, you'll notice this is one of the very first things that we changed. So there are now these preset markets that you can add by just toggling them on or off. Previously, you would have to go in and add the cities or the zip codes or the districts that you were searching for. And you can still do that if you just want to see listings that have broker tours from District 2 and 3, you can do that. But if you want to see all of San Francisco, all you have to do is just toggle that on and it's going to give you this preset shape on your map so that you can see everything in that area. It's Wednesday, so not as many that are available here, but it'll give you that shape so that you don't have to then go in and add 4 or 5 different cities, 2 or 3 different districts, whatever it may be. It's going to capture everything for you automatically. And you can have as many of those presets turned on as you like. Now, one of the things I really love about broker tours on Zenlist is that you have the ability to still filter them. So if you just want to see single family homes, or you just want to see properties that are within a certain price range or have a pool or whatever that criteria is, you can add all of those filters. It'll knock out anything you don't need to see information on because it's not going to match what it is that you're looking to tour. So you can really kind of go through these with a fine tooth comb and you don't have to spend too much time doing so. So you can go into the filters and add anything that you may need. And then once you've added your filters and you feel really good, we'll pull up on the bottom of my map here and I can see there's 51 results. So this is going to sort them by time. This is the big request that we learned in that pitch battle, is that the broker tours need to be sorted by time. So you'll have the next upcoming broker tour at the very top here and the very last one that's scheduled towards the bottom of this list so that you can use that to prioritize or look at what's most important or what's most urgent. So most recent at the top, latest or furthest out broker tours are going to be at the bottom here. I'm on Eastern Standard Time, so my time zone is going to be a little bit different, but it'll be localized to where you are when you're pulling this search. And then I can see the broker tour information over each listing. If I click on that little gray bar, so this one says broker tour Tuesday 12 to 2, it'll pull up that tour information for me. And if there's more than one broker tour, I can see, let's see. Let's find one. Well, we'll use the open house, for example, because I don't want to take up too much time. So this one here says open house Saturday 5 to 7, but then it has that little +2. And that tells me that there are 2 more open houses currently scheduled for this property. And the same will apply to broker tours or open houses, whatever it is that you may need. And so if I just click on that open house +2, it's going to show me all of the times that that property is scheduled. So if there's more than one broker tour, if there's more than one open house, you'll be able to see that, pull it all up, can open the information, add it to my calendar, whatever it may be. So you've got that functionality and that flexibility to add that broker tour to your account wherever it is that you're using it. Now, what I recommend is, like I said, just selecting those properties that you want to see. So we'll add a couple of listings to my little shopping cart here. Whoops. Select. 5 sounds good. So I've selected those 5 listings. I can see that in that little dark circle on the left, it's got a house with a number 5 in it.
I see it
That's
moving as you're adding more. Yep, cool.
Yeah, that's my shopping cart. So I can see all of those here. Again, I can pull those statistics for all of these listings and see what those numbers look like. So you've got that functionality either from the search tab, web, mobile, whatever it is. But what I'll do after I've selected the properties that I want to tour on Tuesday is I'm actually going to click add to tour. So that second option here, I'm going to click add to tour. And it's going to tell me that I don't have any upcoming tours. And this is where I lose most people. So hear my heart when I say this. You don't have any upcoming broker tours because you haven't scheduled or you haven't planned out your broker tour for next week yet. So what we're going to do is create a new tour in the top right corner for next week. We're going to take this week by week, 1 week at a time, because each week is different. We're not going to see the same listings every Tuesday. Each week is going to have a little bit of a different need. Each week is going to have a different route or a different hit list of properties we want to see. So we're going to create a new one for Tuesday in the top right. And this is another one of the things that we've changed. So here it's going to ask you who the tour is for. This is a broker tour, so I'm going to say that this is for myself, but you can use the same tour functionality we're going to go through with your clients if you've got a big day of showings that you need to plan out with them. For today's example, we're going to say that this is for me, and I'm going to pick my tour date. So we're going to say it's for next Tuesday, the 29th, and confirm and create my tour folder.
And as that's being created, when you saw the same functionality that you're creating for a broker tour, you might create open houses for your client. So that's why you have the 2 options, right? So the broker tour is for you because typically, I mean, mostly broker tours are only for brokers. Sometimes a client sneaks in there, but it's usually just for brokers. But open houses are obvious. And you're going to answer one of these questions right now from Pat. She was asking, can we add driving directions? And there you go.
You Yeah, you can. So once you've created that tour folder, it's going to take you to the screen here. It's got all those stops that we've added, all of those different listings, and I can see my map here. Now I can change this however I want to. So if I click to change the route, it's in the top right corner over my map. It's in the ocean or the bay right now. It'll open this menu here, and I can drag and drop these listings to whatever order I want to. I've got fat thumbs, so bear with me. I'll just drag and drop them into whichever order I want. The next big change we've made to broker tours is that while you're changing this route, we've added that broker tour time slot for you so that when you're
Yeah, that was
planning out that
huge. People
day,
wanted to be able to see that data right there. And
you
this
can
came from
see.
direct feedback, right?
And
Yeah.
if you move one like up so that the broker tours don't make sense, we'll give you a little flag that says, "Hey, you've put this, listing in a spot above a 12 to 2 appointment, but this one isn't open until 4 p.m. Like, are you sure you want to go see this one at this time?" So it'll help you really plan it out so that you're taking account of those broker tour times when you're planning out that route. Now you
Was
can
that
add.
optimized button? I'm sorry to interrupt. Does that optimized button what do you recommend? Because optimize is going to be for route, right? The closest route. But I might want to. I don't care about the optimization. I just want to make. I just want to go based on time sometimes, right? So that's why you would do the drag and change option.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
got it.
So if I zoom in a little bit over here, you can see I'm starting at A, it's that bottom one for 2.4, and then I'm
Mhm.
going up to B and then over to C and up to D. But maybe I would prefer to go up to D and then over to C, so that'll help you kind of plan that out. The optimize button, what it's going to do is look at that very first stop, so 1935 California, and the very last 682 37th, and it's going to put them in the smartest route based on that start and stop location. So it's not going to account for the broker tour times, but if you're going just within the same time range, or this is a really nice tool, like I said, if you're working with clients and you're taking them to go see 12 properties because they're only in town for one weekend, you can use that optimize button to really plan it out so you're not spending too much time in the car.
That's really about saving time. The optimization is just for directions. If you want to be in control of your own destiny, whether or not it's the most optimized route, you're going to drag and drop on the top. And we had another question. If an agent, excuse me, it's that cough. If an agent adds comments to the section of the broker tour, that will other, do they see those? Like if an agent is using the comments on a broker tour, are they able to see those? If another, like Sergio in this case, if he added comments to a tour, can I see them if I'm looking at his broker tour property?
Yeah, so after you've kind of planned that route out, or before you do, maybe clicking on each listing here. So I'll start at the top, 1935 California Street, takes me to just some more information. So I've
There you
got
go.
the listing agent's details if I need that. I've got the private remarks on the listing, but then I've also got that broker tour information. So I can see this, 2,000 square foot. Those are those broker tour comments. I can see the times, and I can see it for each different listing. So this is another really great example is because this broker tour has been deleted. So I can remove this from my tour folder. I know that I'm not actually going to go see this on Tuesday.
Yeah, and the thing about this is, um, we have pretty great adoption with this product with Zenlist. But it's only going to be as great as the more of you guys using this specifically for one. This is one of the most specific reasons I would say use Zenlist. Even if you're prospecting in Rapatoni or using your brokerage application for Broker Tour, use this. The more that you use this application and you say, put your notes in Broker Tour, that means that your community is going to get this information and you won't get that nasty gram when you decided to close your tour early. So utilize these, and it does show up for everybody. Thanks a lot.
Yeah. And so you've got all those broker tour comments, the listing information, listing agents details as well. Again, I can pull up the listing details page. So let's say it's Tuesday morning and I get to this property and I think, oh, this is great for Susie. You can use it then to send to her, text her a link, whatever it may be. And after the end of your broker tour day, you'll have a record of what you went to go see. So you'll be able to say, oh, yeah, I did see 28, 26 on, last Tuesday. I do remember seeing that. I saw it last week or I saw it 2 weeks ago or whatever. It looks like you'll have that log or that historical information of what you've gone to go see, the times that you've added, things like that. And again, that all copies over if you're using tours for clients. You'll have a record of what you've taken your clients to go see. You can use that to leave notes on the listings of what your clients thought, whatever it looks like for you. Now, the very last thing that I'll show you inside of broker tours is in the very top right corner, that little dot, dot, dot menu has some additional options. So you can add this broker tour and all of its information to your calendar. If you're anything like me and you need a calendar appointment to show up anywhere on time, you can add it to your Google or your Apple calendar. It creates an actual event that you can invite people to. Creates that backup of information, if you will, and just adds all of those details to your calendar. But you can also open it in a Maps application. So Tuesday morning, I get in my car and I'm ready to hit the road. I can open this in Apple Maps. It remembers all of the information that I've set up, the order I created them for, the addresses. I don't have to copy paste anything. I don't have to worry about any of that. And I can just click go. It'll take me turn by turn where I need to go if I don't have it memorized. That's what I learned when I was visiting a couple weeks ago, is everyone knows where everything is.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, it's going to be a long haul from, I think you're in North Carolina. You're pretty far out from getting
Yeah,
out of here.
yeah, yeah.
One question came up is, and I don't think we've shown this, is how do I add a broker tour? Like I understand we can add open houses, and like it's my own listing and I want to add an open house and I want to add a broker tour. I'm pretty sure we can do that in Zenlist as well, right? And it does add it to your listing that is in Rapatoni MLS. It's an integrated system.
Yeah, yeah. So you'll go into that My Listing section. So if you're on the app, it'll go into account, switch to listings. You'll choose the listing you want to, and then you'll have that edit button in the very top right, and it'll give you
Right.
that list of fields that you can choose from. Broker tour will be one of them, as well as open houses or whatever it may
So
be.
that's where we're going to do that. We're going to go back to the listing, our listing, and then we're going to update it in that listing input area.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Great. So, guys, similar to when you're looking at the editing your listing in Rapatoni, you have the broker tour area. You're gonna do it there. And I think we're wrapping stuff up here. It looks like, so we have a couple other questions that are coming in. Do you want to take these now, or do you want to continue with the broker tour?
I think I hit everything I wanted to on my list.
Okay.
So we can go ahead. What other questions are there?
I think this is just about notifications. Maybe we should go to the notifications section. And I don't know if you want to go back to the web version or not, but does the app automatically send an update when properties viewed on tour close to see the closed price? Uh, I think
Mm.
you have to set up notifications just on seeing closed properties. Yeah, this is from Marianne. It says, again, does the app automatically send an update when properties viewed on tour close to see the closed price? I'm not sure how you would even do that, actually.
Um, I'll have to do some research. I'll do some digging. So Marianne, I'll send you an email later this evening. I'll do some testing and confirm my theories because I don't want to speak incorrectly. I don't want to speak off tune before we do. So Marianne, I will follow up with you, and anyone else that wants to know the answer to that question, I'll share it with HUD too, so that we can help answer that down the road.
Great. An example of good customer service, following up. And Catherine asks, is there a way to save previous tours? Um, yeah, and I think the answer is all of your previous tours are saved, right? If you created them, but please, Jesse, let us know.
Yeah, so anything you created in the past, so for Steven, for instance, there were two broker tours that he created in the past. They stay inside of your Zenlist account. I think what you might be asking is, can I like backdate tours? Can I say I saw this 2 weeks ago and I want to just go ahead and log it in Zenlist? And you can. What you'll do is create a new tour folder, and the date you'll pick will be just back in time. So maybe we went on April 1st. And then we're just going to say, like, hey, just in case you didn't mean to do this, this tours in the past, just letting you know. And you can create that tour folder and add those different properties. So I'll be able to see that here, the tour folder from April 1st, and I can add those listings and those stops as well. I can backdate these for clients as well if I want that record of what I've seen with them specifically.
And one of the things I like is when I look at a property, if we can bring up a property record, just any property, if it's hopefully it's already been on tour, but you can see how many times that property's been on tour, right? You can look and you can see yeah, there you go, past. You can see the past open houses, past broker tours. So that could be helpful too, for the person that was asking that question.
Mm-hmm,
If you just want
mm-hmm.
to know what's the, how many broker tours have happened for this particular property, that insight.
Well, I'm picking really bad examples, but I promise it's in
It's
there.
okay. All right, I don't see any further questions, which is great. We went longer than we thought. I told you there's going to be more content. Like we'll just do everything that's new. It ends up being a full training. But one of the things we talked about for like what's next, is for those of you that want like a full blown training, which might go on for a couple hours. Jesse, are you ready for this? Um, would be next week. So scan that QR code, and she's going to tell you a little bit about what you guys are going to cover.
Yeah, so in those kind of introduction webinars, I take things much slower. I explain the nuances a little bit better. We go like click by click. Here's how you set up a client. Here's how you set up a search. Here's how you interact with clients on Zenlist. So if you haven't been on Zenlist for a while and you just need a refresher course, that's a great opportunity to do it. If you're brand new and you just want to learn a little bit more, or I hear this a lot too, like I'm using it, but I feel like there's something I'm missing and I don't want to make sure, I want to make sure I'm like, I know everything that's available to me. We go through almost every aspect of the Zenlist application in those introduction webinars. They take about 45 minutes. And then the last little bit of that time is dedicated to Q&A. So we can have a conversation about that, interact with you guys, and just gives you a really thorough walkthrough, kind of like Zenlist 101 if you need it. So highly recommend it. If you haven't attended one of those, there's probably something hidden inside of Zenlist that you weren't aware of. So if you've got the time to spare, you can listen in the background. It's a great opportunity.
Clearly there is, because every time I get on one of these trainings, Jesse, I like, oh, I forgot that you could do that.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
or there's just some new nugget that you guys have added without even telling us. But just want to thank you again, Jesse, for being such a good partner with us, and training our agents and being part of this session. This is recorded. This session is recorded. Um, oh, they want to know how to sign up. Well, I can show them how to sign up. Let me help you with that in a minute before we get done here. Um, Jesse, may I take over the screen real quick? Yeah. So
Please
we're
do.
gonna
Please
go.
do.
We're gonna go to, well, shucks, I'm gonna need to get to my browser here. And it's real easy, guys. You just go to you go to your CoreLogic dashboard, which I'm getting to before I share my screen, so you don't have to see all of the 150 emails I need to respond to before the end of the day. So you're just gonna go to the MLS dashboard, and now I'm ready to share my screen. So let me get back to Zoom. Um, Super simple. As I may have said before, everybody gets a free Zenlist account as a member of San Francisco MLS. There are tiered. There's a pro version which gives you unlimited clients and a few other features. But what we have negotiated with Zenlist is a full mobile. We call it MLS in your pocket. Right here we call it the MLS in your pocket. It allows you to add, edit listings, do everything we saw today, broker tours, any of those things. So you just click on Zenlist for SFAR. You click on sign up. So you might think, why don't I go to my phone first because this is a mobile app? No, you want to start here. You start here to sign up because you are going to need to put in. Oh, see, I'm already logged in. Let me log out and I'll show you guys. Let me log out. You're going to need to sign up, and you're going to sign up with your with email, and you're going to put in your first name, last name, email address, and password. This email address must be the same email address as your MLS email address. If it is not, it will not work, because this is how we authenticate you. So make sure that, because this is only available for San Francisco agents, so make sure you do that and you will be all set and ready to go. And without further ado, yeah, so we will move on. Awesome. So Jesse, thanks a lot for being part of the session. We'll edit this video a bit and we'll put it up on our SFAR social channel, and then we'll see you next time. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you so much.
See you guys.